we're going to see things be much worse, and they're going to move at a momentum that the left will move at, because they've always demonstrated their ability to, like you say, Katie barred the door. They will slash and burn their way, and just like they did after the very fake Fed surrection on January 6th, where we saw however many 1,400 people thrown into prison for a setup. What we now know is a setup of January 6th.
That was my next question. We now know the DOJ, and I'm going to leave it at that because I'm still processing it, what I learned last night and this morning.
I'm not processing it because I'm done processing it. I'm done with we got this bomber and that shooter, and we had Ashley Babbitt murdered, and we don't even know what's happening with this. I mean, this was a complete setup because they did not want, they knew that they stole the 2020 election. Believe me, what's going to come out, and mark my words, mark the date on this interview, there is going to come out a conspiracy, and it happened while Trump was in office, and it happened well before the 2020 election. So mark it on your calendar, Alex, and mark the date of this show, because I guarantee there will be evidence that will come out, and that evidence is going to be absolutely outrageous. It is worse than Russiagate.
Contacted by somebody from Arizona who's very plugged into Arizona politics. I received a text message from somebody who's very close to this situation, specifically somebody who's very close to and has worked with Tyler Boyer for a very long time. And this person told me, "You're off the mark. It doesn't happen with you very often, Stu, but you're over the wrong target on Tyler Boyer." And so I just want to say very publicly that my response was, Tyler Boyer is more than welcome to fly into Minneapolis at any time and to sit right down here at the desk, and we can have an in-person conversation right out in the wide open, very candid, no edits, just a live conversation. So Tyler, I'm just extending that conversation and that invitation right now by just saying, I just want to make sure that everybody understands, look, I'm investigating the alleged assassination of a public figure that's probably just as prolific and just as controversial and very obviously just as deceiving as the assassination of a sitting president of this country, JFK. And I suspect that the same people who were responsible for killing JFK are responsible for eliminating Charlie Kirk. And there is all kinds of circumstantial and physical evidence that supports that theory. And there is a justifiable reason why I have been looking into all of this behavior. And it seems that there's only a few of us that are actually doing that with large platforms. Candace Owens, myself, Ryan Matt has been doing a lot on this. But everybody else has just kind of taken the, Tyler Robinson did this. Or originally they were insistent that Israel could not have anything to do with this. Again, Alex Jones, Nick Fuentes said that would be low IQ anti-Semitism. And I think since then, I'm not sure, I don't watch their shows, but I see clips floating around, of course, on social media. And I think that both of them have now kind of done an about face on that. They've changed their perspective, and they recognize Israel's very obvious culpability, or at least the justifiable explanation for all of this being that they would have the most motive to do something like this. And of course, they have the historical precedent. And of course, they have the means, and they have the funding for all of this, of course, at the expense of the U.S. taxpayer. And we can go over what Israel is, this fake country, this warehouse, this storage facility for all the weapons of munition, all of these things, which, I mean, the United States was Israel before Israel was. Just had to move the base of operations to avoid scrutiny and to protect this place from any kind of questioning or criticism. Well, we'll just call it Israel. So there's a lot to this. But I just want to extend that invitation very personally, very publicly to Tyler Boyer. You're more than welcome at any time to come and sit down here and explain to us, how I'm wrong. How I'm wrong about any of these previous connections or ties to Eastern European orphanages, or how I'm wrong about any criminal charges that may have been brought or crimes of moral or financial turpitude. Despite the fact that they're very publicly discoverable, I am being told that I'm over the wrong target when it comes to Tyler Boyer. So I just wanted to wrap that up. I just wanted to say that. But as far as Erica Kirk is concerned, and as far as Stu, you should leave this woman alone. Are you kidding? These people are responsible for pulling off a very obvious stack of unbelievable fairy tales and lies. And at the center of all that, we have somebody who's allegedly been murdered and is dead, who was killed in front of 3,000 people in live attendance, and who billions of people that probably had no idea who Charlie Kirk even was now know who he was, because they were allowed to see that video on the internet as it just was able to proliferate across all of the social media platforms, despite the fact that it was very bloody, very gruesome, very gory, and that a man was dying. And while he was laying there dying on the ground and bleeding out, his security team looked more like a rugby team or an NHL hockey team or a professional football team that was running through a play that they had practiced over and over and over again. And one of the things that was missing was rendering any kind of medical assistance to Charlie Kirk. Another thing that was missing, an exit wound. A 30-06 did not do this. And the front of his neck was an exit wound. That's how exit wounds behave. And it's also how packets of blood behave. But none of this stuff regarding Turning Point USA and the people, you got to remember, these are the people who worked with Charlie Kirk every day. From Colvett to Boyer to his wife, Erica, Mikey McCoy, Rob McCoy, a pastor who I called on the phone and I asked him, why did you lie about Mikey McCoy being covered with blood? And he hung up on me. I don't want anything to do with this. Why are these people lying? And why do these people refuse to have these conversations? Allegedly, they just lost Charlie Kirk. Shouldn't they be the ones screaming this story about Tyler Robinson is completely fake and unbelievable? We want to know who really killed our best friend, our boss, my husband. We want to know. Erica Kirk should be the loudest demanding answers from this corrupt, fake FBI under Pam Bondi's DOJ. Supposedly being run by Kash Patel, which is also another humiliation ritual for all of us. The people that are running this country or pretending to run this country, are they advanced thinkers? Pete Hegseth, the defense secretary, or now the head of the Department of War, is he really going into the Pentagon and strategizing about how to move military assets around the world? That guy, the drunken commentator from the Fox News channel, Kash Patel, this is some super experienced investigator? No, he has no experience. None. Zero. He has no experience in the field at all whatsoever, and now he's just the director of the FBI. None of this makes sense. All of these people are frauds. Every single one of them is a liar, and these liars are protecting crime syndicates that operate at the highest levels imaginable. A lot of them unimaginable. You would never imagine the types of crimes that these people are committing, specifically against children and on tape. This is all just a humiliation ritual. And it's an attack on the very fabric of our faith, of our churches, of our country. It's an attack on the spirit and the soul of our beings, and they get off on it. So I don't expect Tyler Boyer to take me up on that invitation. Andrew Colvett, you're more than welcome to come here as well. Erica Kirk, you're more than welcome to come and sit down. Let's be open about this. Let's have a conversation. Rob McCoy, why would you hang up on me? You're a pastor. Are you a liar? Are you lying? Are you continuing to lie? Are you helping to cover it up? Why would you lie about Mikey McCoy being covered in blood? Why would you lie? Why would you say those things? I want to know. I want to know the answers to these questions. We all deserve the answers to these questions. Whether we liked Charlie Kirk or disagreed with him or loved him or didn't like him at all, we deserve to know the truth about who's running around supposedly assassinating public figures in broad daylight. We deserve to know what the hell is going on with this investigation and why the official narrative has never changed, despite the fact that constantly new revelations are coming about that millions of people are seeing. Candace Owens is on her show almost every day. I'm here behind this desk almost every day, bringing to light inconsistencies and outright lies surrounding this investigation about who killed Charlie Kirk. But yet still, we're just being told over and over again it was the lone gunman on behalf of the radical left because of anti-transgenderism rhetoric that was being spewed by Charlie Kirk. No, it wasn't. And we know that. So the invitation is open. Kash Patel, you could come here for the very first time ever and talk to me. All of you know that he's been here 8 times before. And then lied in his Senate confirmation hearing, saying that he had no idea who the hell I was. We communicated not just on this program, but off of this program via text almost daily for a period of time when I was suing Newsweek for making up a quote and attributing it to me. Just making it up out of whole cloth and attributing this quote to me. And I'm like, yeah, no, I never said that. I want to sue them. Kash Patel had Fight with Kash, which was an organization that was made specifically for the purpose of defending people who were being defamed by the lying media. But now that he's a part of the apparatus that protects the people who make up those lies, in the first place, the people who own 100% of our media, now he doesn't have any idea who I was. Do you see how all of this works? These people are lying and we deserve to know the truth. We're not going to get it from the people who are charged with the responsibility of investigating the people that are lying because they are lying. They have made all of the lies possible by making them up themselves. The amount of criminal corruption and degeneracy and perversion and sociopathic destruction that's intentionally being wrought onto the American people and brought to your front doors, the suffering that you have economically and spiritually, what you're watching your children go through, what you're watching in our churches, what you're watching happen to our country is as a result of the very premeditated actions of these people. They're all frauds and criminals. Every single one of them is a liar and an actor. The entire world is a stage. These people are paid a salary by you, the U.S. taxpayer, and then subsidized with bonuses from the people who are ripping you off through usurious credit card debt, high interest loans, fake currency, which is high interest loan repayment to the Federal Reserve, which there's nothing federal about it, that's been ripping off our people, the war machine that has been causing the loss of life and blood by our young men, by Americans who are dying for this country. Like, they're not, though. They're not dying for our country. They're dying for that fake country. The same fake country that killed Charlie Kirk. The same fake country that killed JFK. The same fake country that hanged Saddam Hussein. Even though the whole world knew that there were no weapons of mass destruction or incubator babies and that he was just trying to develop a system of monetary exchange outside of the Rothschild-run central banking cabal. All of these people and their base of operations is on Rothschild Boulevard in Tel Aviv. All of the BlackRocks and the Blackstones and the Vanguards and the State Streets and the Carlyle groups that are ripping off Americans, stealing out of your 401k, given permission to do so by executive order by Donald Trumpenstein. Yeah, he signed the executive order giving them the Panama Canal. He signed the executive order that allows for more munitions and more funding to go to Ukraine, where BlackRock sits atop the mineral deposits that are oh so valuable. BlackRock and Blackstone are allowed to buy up single-family residences in this country? Of course they are, because these are Donald Trump's colleagues and friends. They're on the same tapes that he's likely on. It's a dire situation. We should be demanding the truth about what happened here. Whether it's finding out that Charlie Kirk is secretly alive living on some island called Valhalla, or if he was killed by the Israeli nation state that occupies our entire society and runs and owns our government and our media and our financial system and our institutions of learning? Why is it just me and Candace here every day asking these questions? Why is it just two of us? Why? And, I hate to leave out anybody else that's, also asking these questions. I may just not have heard of you, or I don't know and I don't see it because I'm not plugged in. I'm not constantly watching other broadcasts. But, from what I've seen, there is a select notable few, let's just say that really genuinely are trying to get to the bottom of what happened. You want to talk about a viral interview that will catch the attention of a whole lot of people? What about a Candace Owens, Stu Peters collaboration? There's a lot of people that used to want to talk to me that don't want to talk to me anymore. Why is that? They don't even answer my texts or phone calls anymore. These are people that were supposedly a part of this movement.
Are you familiar with the Stu Peters? Does that name ring a bell?
I'm sorry, what?
Are you familiar with Mr. Stu Peters?
Not off the top of my head.
He made 8 separate appearances on his podcast.
Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Stu. Always love coming on your show.
Kash Patel, thank you so much for making the time to be here with us. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Stu. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Stu. Appreciate it. See you soon.
I got to go, Kash. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Stu.
Up against a hard break here. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it, Stu.
Kash Patel, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Stu.
What movement? What cohesive team do we have here? Let's just on to the next thing. It's just on to the next thing. What's viral today? What will propel my online career today? What will gain me more subscribers today? Well, whatever happened to the damn truth? Whatever happened to the entire reason why you got into this in the first place? Or was it always about money and fame and power and notoriety and a platform? Were you always fake? And I'm not talking about Candace when I say that. She's unincluded in that. I believe that she's a woman of principle who's standing on her convictions and that she truly is looking for truth. So I'm not talking about her when I say that people are intentionally deceptive or relying only for the propulsion of their own, self-gratification and their platform and the amount of followers that they have subscribing to them on their various platforms, or how they play victim only to then, achieve greatness by overcoming all of the odds that were stacked against them. It sounds a lot like Donald Trump, doesn't it? This is the guy that was constantly being prosecuted and persecuted and dragged through the mud. They tried to kill him, remember? Yeah, that's one of them that I know for sure was completely fake. Nobody's ear just heals like that. I have scars from my childhood that were inflicted by much less trauma, physical trauma, than a 223 5.56 NATO round being shot through my ear. You would have lost your ear. If that happens to you, you lose your ear. It doesn't just heal up and it's all of a sudden all better now. And you're giving speeches with a white thing, piece of gauze, and then all of a sudden that's removed a week later and you're just fine. These people are sick. They are running a theatrical presentation at the expense of your children. They're murdering childhood innocence. They're sodomizing children, figuratively and literally. We need righteous people leading this country. We need righteous people with microphones and platforms that are willing to throw all of the acceptable societal, polite vernacular in the trash and start just saying the truth, whether you're polished or not. I'm not a freaking journalist. I'm not a media professional. I hope to work myself out of a job, quite frankly. I hope that there's never another need for us to ever come on the air again and all the corruption has been exposed. I'm looking forward to that day. But I think between now and then, there's going to have to be a lot of uncomfortable situations that we're all in together. And we're going to have to utter some words that probably weren't on your bingo card when you were in your 20s.
Hi, Steve here. The main goals of Luciferian globalism for humanity, as evidenced by their actions and stated objectives, are very clear. Depopulation and control. Luciferian globalists seek to reduce the world's population through all kinds of ways, engineered pandemics, vaccines, and other covert methods. They want to control the remaining population through totalitarian systems like global government, digital IDs, and social credit scores. This is evident in their support for population control measures like abortion on demand and the promotion of contraceptives in developing countries. Transhumanism and AI. They envision a future where humans are merged with artificial intelligence, creating a new race of beings. This is part of their goal to transcend the limitations of the human body and achieve immortality apart from God. They fund and promote research into AI, biotechnology, and genetic engineering to facilitate what they want. Wealth concentration. Luciferian globalists aim to concentrate wealth in the hands of a select few, creating a global elite. They use their influence to manipulate markets, control resources, and exploit the labor of others. This is evident in their support of policies that favor the wealthy, like tax breaks, deregulation, and free trade agreements. Spiritual deception and control. They seek to deceive humanity about spiritual realities, promoting materialism, relativism, and secularism. They aim to control and suppress religious freedom, particularly Christianity, which they see as a barrier to their goals. This is evident in their support for policies that restrict religious liberty and promote alternative spiritual paths. These goals are interconnected and serve a larger agenda of creating a new world order, where a select few rule over the masses who are stripped of their freedoms, wealth, and spiritual heritage. It's crucial for people to understand they need to educate themselves about these goals and take action to preserve their liberties and promote natural health and protect the sanctity of life.
We're entering the AI war zone for AI supremacy.
Absolutely. And this represents decentralization of knowledge. You no longer need Wikipedia, which has always been a joke. Grokpedia is so much better, by the way. You no longer need Google search for most things. You can get the truth through decentralized AI engines like what we've built. But it took us 2 years, Alex, and it took us a couple of $1 million because we had to overcome all of the pro-pharma bias, the vaccine bias, the WEF bias that's built into every major big tech engine. And we've launched these free of charge, so everybody can use it themselves. But here's why this matters. In the process of building our AI engine, I worked with a lot of AI frontier developers, and I became close associates with a number of people who are working on cutting edge AI. And what I witnessed, Alex, is not known by the public. What I have witnessed is essentially that AGI already exists in the labs. And by AGI, it's hard to define, but it means that an AI system can take over fundamentally any human task. 10 years ago, most data scientists thought that AGI would not be achieved until the year 2045 or 2050. And I'm telling you that it exists right now in 2025. And it's just not rolled out yet. In other words, AI cognition has already achieved AGI levels, but it's not evenly distributed. What that means is that beginning next year, and actually it's already started this year with Amazon layoffs and so on, we are going to see millions of Americans displaced from their jobs by agentic AI that will take over everything that you can do with what we call a KVM, keyboard, video, and mouse. So almost any human worker sitting at a desk that does almost anything with a computer, a keyboard, and a mouse will be replaced by agentic AI in the years ahead. The easier jobs will be replaced next year, and that's going to be about 80% of customer service and pre-sales support jobs. The translation and interpretation industry will be 100% replaced by AI. That has already begun. Middle managers, planners, decision makers who carry out administrative tasks in companies, that will see about a 60% replacement over the next 18 months or 2 years. And this is going to destroy
hundreds of thousands of years of human development and civilization.
If you understand how to use AI to augment your intelligence and your skill set, and there are specific ways to do that, then you can up your game and you can actually create amazing abundance during this time.
Notice all the new cars coming out don't have handles, don't have keys, it's all about you're being removed, you're being enslaved. It's being done by design for control. And you'll have AI content, really not human content, not AI giving you human content. You'll have this, and it's all about what AI do you have. It's all about diversification of AI now. Instead of apps where you choose where you want to go, it's taking full control, and you're given this menu, and it says it's giving you what you want. This is beyond Mark of the Beast. This is Satan. Mike Adams, you got the floor.
Okay, so Elon Musk is doing a great job tracking the trends, and I think he's fundamentally correct about what he says there. Your comment, however, needs an additional layer, which is that what you're describing is default mode. So people can allow AI to control their attention through default mode ingestion selection of content that would be run by whatever corporation or globalist entity is behind that system. However, AI gives us the potential to control and to basically determine the stack of content that we're ingesting through our attention windows. And that's by prompting AI and giving it directions and using agentic AI to control the ingestion of content. What do you want to learn? AI will be able to write entire books. In fact, I'm launching a site that will write any book that you want in minutes, and you can download it for free. I mean, and that's just the beginning. You'll be able to generate audiobooks, movies. Hollywood is done. Hollywood's done, Alex. It's done. The book publishing industry as we know it will be obsolete. And Elon's actually speaking to that, and he's correct. Podcasts will be automatically generated according to what you want, okay? Now, there will always be a place for people like you and I that have strong human opinions and wisdom and experience in order to offer additional facts and perspectives on what's happening in the world.
You're talking about original thought leader generators. Everything will be about generators.
That's right. That's right. But what the future is going to be for people like you in InfoWars is that you will do a 30-minute segment, let's say, and then that 30-minute segment will be almost instantly generated into a book, a podcast, an interview, a PDF. It'll be generated into multiple formats, a docuseries, a PowerPoint, and then the person who wants to ingest your knowledge and your wisdom
AI will take a 30-minute show and then back up everything I said.
AI will make your show much stronger because it will back up what you're saying. The human attention is going to be the most valuable asset for decades to come, human attention. And each person that is a consumer of knowledge will be able to determine how that attention is focused. And only idiots will put it on default mode. Idiots. Smart people will say, I want to learn this. I want to hear that. I want to research this. I want to know this. Give me this skill set. Give me this download. It's going to be like living in the Matrix where you can just download knowledge into your brain in real time on any subject that you want. You don't have to wait for a book to be published. You don't have to wait a year for that cycle.
We are in control of it if we engage and don't just receive it. We have to be the programmers of it.
Yes, that is exactly the point. Now, we are about to see in our economy, we're going to see the K-shaped economy, as they say, where the upper line of the K, that's going to be people who know how to use technology, and they will be abundant. They will live in that abundance era that Elon Musk is describing. If you know how to augment your intelligence, your business ideas, your entrepreneurship, your skill set, your interests using AI, you're going to do very, very well. The lower leg of that K-shaped economy is going to be the people who got left behind, the people who have very few skills that are obsolete. Those people are going to lose their jobs by the tens of millions in America over the next few years. And I believe even during the Trump administration, he is going to be facing an unemployment crisis that we've never seen before, not in the history of our country. So you're saying
the age of stagnancy is over?
Like, you're either going to have to learn to up your skill set and up your game, and you're going to have to augment your intelligence by using AI along with your job, or you're going to be steamrolled by this because it's moving so quickly. And as I said, I believe that AGI, however people define it, has already been achieved and is going to be rolled out. So Elon Musk is going to build 100 million Tesla robots. They haven't yet worked out the vision recognition, the behavioral model training in the robots, but it doesn't matter. As long as they have the hardware, you can update the software instantly, 18 months from now. And with Moore's Law working on microchips, NVIDIA, Blackwell designs that are cramming more CUDA cores into the chips, and the incredible advancements of language models that are doubling in capabilities every 9 months, Elon knows that you have to chase where the hockey puck is going to be by 2030. By the time 100 million robots roll off the assembly lines, they will have mastered all of the software necessary to turn those robots into replacements for up to 80% of human labor. I mean, we've already seen Amazon laying off they announced 30,000 people. We've seen UPS laying off 45,000 people this year, and it's happening at Target and General Motors and Salesforce. So what's going to happen to them? And so forth. Well, again, they're either going to learn to use AI and become competitive in ways that AI cannot yet touch, which involves being more human and having divinity and inspiration, creativity, and the innovation that makes us human, or you're going to be left behind. You're going to end up on a UBI that Trump will be forced to roll out. There will be a UBI that'll be tied to a CBDC. You know,
explain that.
it's
It's
gonna be a
universal
surveillance
basic
grid.
income.
Universal basic income to prevent everybody from revolting as millions lose their jobs. The government will print money and hand out money to the masses, enough for them to feed themselves and maybe pay rent.
But you'll only
And
get the stuff Gates wants, bug protein.
Well, exactly. There's going to be limitations on what you're allowed to buy. No ammunition, for example, right? And if you post the wrong things on social media, possibly under a future administration or maybe even under the current one, then, you know, hey, you might not get as much money next month. You know, this is the CBDC control grid system. First, people get thrust into poverty and desperation. Then they sign up so they can eat. And in signing up, they give up their biometrics, and then they're controlled by the system. And the people who are going to be immune to this are people who, number one, own gold and silver. As you well know, Alex, you've been mentioning gold and silver for 25 years. And the people who accumulated those metals over those years, they're very happy today. And they're going to be able to have financial independence through all of this that happens. We have to keep it all in perspective. The big picture is the extermination of the human race. That is the overriding issue. So COVID vaccines, those bioweapons were all part of this. And anytime, anywhere in the world where there's a war, including like in Ukraine, and why the UK wants to send its young men to die on the front lines against Russia, that's population control from the evil British Empire. They want to kill off their own young men on purpose. And they found that Russia is the most effective way to do that. And Russia doesn't want that job. They don't want to be the meat grinder for the planet.
Lindsey Graham said it's great. We kill Ukrainians, we kill Russians.
Exactly. But the European leaders, they know that they're facing domestic revolt if they don't eliminate their own people. And the best way for them, the UK leaders, who are just the most evil empire ever that has existed on this planet. I mean, that's who went after Trump with the fake dossier and all of that. And that's who ran the censorship campaigns against you and I and so many others in the so-called disinformation dozen. All of that came out of MI6, by the way. And it was laundered through the NGOs over to big tech. That's all a British operation.
And so was Crossfire Hurricane and all of it.
Yes, you got it. And this is one reason, by the way, why Trump is at war with the British Empire as it exists. It's a covert war. But that's why all the silver and gold came out of London earlier this year. I mean, man, this gets deep. You got to go into full Tom Luongo territory on this to really understand that war. Doesn't matter. The big picture, mass extermination of the human population. On the Eastern power grid, which powers 13 states, they have raised the power rates for the people in order to subsidize the power grid infrastructure build out for the data centers.
They are gouging humans to give basically free power to AI for the data centers.
To build out the infrastructure for the high voltage lines that will power the data centers.
So black and white fight with each other, or people are mad that illegals get 3 times the welfare. No, the AI is getting the welfare. Though AI is the greatest welfare whore ever.
Yes, and OpenAI is now asking Trump to backstop all their investment in additional expansion. Trillions of dollars of investment ultimately is what they want. So what we're actually seeing—
So we get blackouts and AI gets everything. They're training us right now.
Oh, exactly. Humans are going to be de-emphasized in the economy. Humans are going to be taxed to build the AI infrastructure, and then humans are going to be exterminated as soon as the AI.
So humans are going to level up, come together, and unify, or we're done. This is going to make us greater, though.
Well, both of these things are going to happen, Alex. So people like you and I, your audience, my audience, they're going to level up, man. They're not going to sit back and do nothing. They are learning and mastering using AI to like download everything. They're using their own brains and using AI as like supervised fine tuning, SFT tuning of their own neurology to super learn faster than any university could ever even imagine. Universities are obsolete, Alex. Even off the shelf books are obsolete. You could ask AI to teach you anything at this point right now. So our people are going to level up, but the masses out there that for whatever reason,
the purple, pink hair,
they're going to be destroyed. They're going to be absolutely destroyed. I mean, literally exterminated by the globalist systems that don't want them around. the whole commercial real estate industry is going to collapse. Absolute collapse. They're going to auction off salvage rights to go in and strip mine the wiring, the copper and the aluminum out of those buildings, because that's the only thing that they're good for anymore. The cities will just die, especially in Western culture. And not everybody gets this, because it's so different from where we are today. But if you're a capable human being, you're going to buy one robot first, and then you're going to buy another and another and another, and you're going to put them to use. Your life is going to get better. But if you can't afford robots, your life is going to suck. And eventually you're going to be on the extermination list. I mean, seriously, there will be no middle class. It's over in the years ahead.
We are in the last days. Make no mistake about it. Because if you do, you'll be crushed under the heavy hand of evil without any hope for eternity. The only way for any of us to truly have a future is to put our faith and trust in the Messiah, the Savior of the world, Yeshua, Jesus the Christ, Yeshua, the Mashiach. It doesn't matter what you've heard from anyone else on this earth. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father, Elohim, but through me. You better believe him, because it's probably the only truth you'll ever hear from here on out. Think about it.